the one, the only, Benzion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. Today's daf is Benzion Gittin daf Hey, number 5. Towards the end of daf Hey, we're trying again to bring different proofs. Here the Gemara is trying to bring a proof that when the person says there has to be other people present. One opinion, Rabbi China says 3 people, Rabbi Yochanan says 2 people. So in the middle of the discussion, when they're trying to prove for Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara quotes a brisa towards the bottom of Hamid base. It says, Tanya goes to Rabbi Yochanan, a brisa quotes Rabbi Yochanan. Maybe you get Medina Siyam and Asula, but Lo Amar La B'Fanei Nech. He brings the get. He doesn't say it, right? The first mistake he has to say it. And then she gets remarried, and she has a child with the second husband. Yotzi a lot of moms there. Dear Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir holds she has to get divorced from the second husband, and the child she had from the second husband is a mamzer. Mamzer is pretty severe. Can't marry a Bas Yisrael. Can only marry Mamzeres. That's Rabbi Meir's shita. Chachamim made of a lot of mamzer. Chachamim say that's not a mamzer. It's only a chumrah d'Rabbanan. So he said, go give the get a second time. He said, the child's not a mamzer. The Gemara even asks, Rabbi Meir, the Vlad is a mamzer. How could that be? It's only a necessity or what's a chumrah d'Rabbanan to say this, right? According to Rabbah, the reason is Bekiyin Lishma. But even Rabbah, we said on Bezim and Bez, he agrees that Rov Bekiyin Lishma. Most people are Baki. Even in Medina Hayam, most people are Baki Lishma. So it's only a chashash ba'alma. And even according to Rameir himself, we'll talk about this in a second, Rameir himself, right, that's chashir lemiyuta, worried about a Rov is not normally good enough. He's choshesh lemiyuta, that's only... Here we have an additional rov, a second rov, that people who write Gittin are not just regular people, are the Dayanim. Dayanim are definitely, even in America or in Medina Hayam, are Baki in Hilchos Gittin, Hilchos Shmas. You have, even according to Meir, you have a rov which is satisfactory. And according to Rabbah, the reason is Ein Mesudim L'Kaimo, Mido Raisa, the get is a valid get, because Eidim that are written in a star, that are signed a star, commission Nechara Yidus in a base. And Dal Raisa, it's valid. You don't need anyone to Mekayim the star. So therefore, and you only have to be Mekayim the star if people are Ma'arer, right? Technically, right? Usually, if you want to be Mekayim the star, you only if someone protests. And maybe if no one protests, you should be Mekayim the star. So here, the Rabbanan allowed one person in lieu of 2 people to say the star is Mekuyim already. And if people are Ma'arer, then you should go and verify the signatures. But it's only a Chash D'Rabbanan. The whole concept of Kiyum Shar is only D'Rabbanan. So how could you say, Mido Raisa, the get is a valid get? How could you say, so he says the reason, he says anyone who changes from the formula that Rabbanan instituted by Gittin, and one of the things the formula they instituted, if you're bringing get Medina Hayam, you have to say Vani Nechta, even though there's only D'Rabbanan. Nonetheless, the Vlad is a mamzer. Now, the art scroll brings from, see the Pnei Yehoshua, number 17, 5b3, see Pnei Yehoshua below 79b to Tosfos, who discusses at length whether a mayor considers the offspring of such a marriage as mamzer on the biblical level or on the rabbinical level. Now, is this a mamzer d'Oraisa, mamzer d'Rabbanan? Right? It's a very important aspect. If it's a mamzer d'Oraisa, right? So that's if she goes and marries, this child goes marries a Bas Yisrael, right? You're gonna create it's Asr Midaraisa. Right? It's Mamzer D'Rabbanan, maybe you can be Mekel in certain circumstances to allow her to marry a Bas Yisrael. It's only the Rabbanan in certain circumstances Shasat Chak could be Mekel. To me, it's obvious that Rameir only means the Rabbanan. If everyone agrees that the get is valid without saying Fani Nechtam, these are only chashashos. Even according to Rabbi Kim, shtar is only the Rabbanan. Mido Raisa is a valid get. The Rabbanan don't have the ability to be oker a get, right? I always say this. The Rabbanan, even though the Gemara in Masechtas Yevamot says Yesh Kelch B'Yadcham La'akar Darvin Torah B'Shev Al Tasa, they could go ahead and say that don't do a mitzvah, right? You're supposed to take lulav on the first day of Sukkot. If that falls out on Shabbat, they say don't take lulav on the first day. Midoraisa, you're mechuyev to take lulav. However, they were afraid you're going to carry. So therefore, they said don't do it on the first day. So they have the ability to say don't do a mitzvah d'oraisa. They do not have the ability, bekum ve'esei, to invalidate something which on the rice level is valid. And a get, which is valid midaraisa, they have no koach to mavatel that get. Now, you'll tell me there's a concept in Shas, afkinu chachamim kiddushim in there. The chachamim who are mafkia the kiddushin, even if you say they're mafkia the kiddushin, you can apply that over here, and you say, a lot of Rishonim say it only applies where the Gemara says. There's only 5 instances in the Gemara where it says afkinu the rabbanan kiddushim in there. It doesn't say it over here. Even if you'll say it applies in a general sense, and they have the ability to mafkia the kiddushin, if they're mafkia the original kiddushin of the first person, so then the child's not a mamzer because she was never married to the first person. A mamzer is only when you're married to one man and then you have a child from a second man without either the first husband dying or a get from the first husband. But if they're makiyah the kiddushin, there's no kiddushin, so then she wasn't married to the first person, so the child's not a mamzer, right? So you have to say it's only a chumrah, the rabbanan send me the rabbanan, and that's what he imposes a penalty. The rabbanan say the funny mayor imposes a penalty, and it's very interesting because the Gemara actually before says, right, according to Rabbah says Rabbah agrees to Rabbah's reasoning, but he also says a different reason you have to say funny is because they're worried in Medina Sayyam they're not baki lishma. Now that's a problem. They're not baki lishma, it's a daraisa problem. But the Gemara on Benzion Gittin says that Rov Bikin, Ruba Delays Sakaman, most people in the world are familiar with it. And the Gemara adds, and even according to a mayor who's chayish lemiyuta, who worries even a Rov is not good enough, for a mayor it would be good because Dayanim, right Gittin. Usually Dayanim write the Gittin. And they're Baki. So you have 2 rows. You have a rov, even if it was written by anybody, rov people are Bakian. And not only that, it's usually written by Dayanim who are Baki. And that's the same Remeir what we're talking about over here. So what you could say is that, right, I always like to say that Remeir, right, when he says that Chayshil Lamiyuta, that's not a Doraisa that is Chayish Lamiyuta, because Midoraisa Rov, the Torah says Acharam Lahatas. You can't tell me the Torah says Acharam Lahatas and Rameir says Chayshil Lamiyuta. If you have Rov, you have Rov. It must be Rameir Chayshil Lamiyuta. Derabana, when he says Chayshil Lamiyuta, that's a Derabana, Xera Derabana. He's Chayshil Lamiyuta, right? And that's what the Gemara meant to say. Even according to Meir, Bidarabanan, if you have 2 Trey Rovi, then you can't say or make a Gzera Darban. That's what the Gemara always says. We hold like Rameir Big Zerosa. The source is Rameir's Chayish Lamiyuta, that he makes a Gzera Darabana. And we paskin, we are Chayish Lamiyuta, but if you have Trey Ruby, right, so then we're not Choshesh for the Miyah. So what the Gemara means over here maybe is according to Rameir, right, according to Rava, right, only according to Rabbah, Rameir jumps in and he says there's Trey Ruby. But according to Rava, maybe there's only one Rov. Maybe there's only one Rov. And we don't assume that all Gittin are made by Dayanim. So there's only one Rov. Chayshin Lamiyuta. Rameir is Choshesh Lamiyuta. He's Choshesh for the Miyut over here. And maybe it's Pasal Midarabana. But the most is Pasal Midarabana. And they can't invalidate it again, which is valid, right? So that's pretty much what I have to say over here. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.